G'day guys and welcome back to the Venture Beyond podcast. This is episode 9. This is probably our best one yet. We got to speak to Viv from Dulcet Cakes and Sweets, and she shared her experiences of launching her first bakery, building it into multiple sites, and ending up with massive online orders. The spirit of entrepreneurship is so strong in this story, and you're going to learn so much. She's just now going through the process of rebranding, hence the hats we were wearing, with the incredible new look. I think you're going to love it. Maybe the best place to start is if you could just tell us about the early days, what it felt like to be getting out into a business, what the motivation was, and we can kick it off from there.
There was not really any ambitious mind before. So basically, I came to Australia about 8 years ago and then started like pastries, and then I was thinking, oh, maybe that's a way to meet some friends. And then later I went to an internship just for 3 months and at Sheraton on the Park.
Yeah.
And my business partner, she was a baker back then, working there, very experienced for 3 years. And then later, I'm thinking, baking is not something I really like. So I want to do like wedding cakes.
Uh-huh.
And then, but she was like moving to the Key. Like she was a head patisserie chef back then. And then as a staff reunion, we met each other again. I'm thinking, I'm so tired of like dealing with like some other people. So I wanted to make my own design, make my own decisions of making the cakes.
Uh-huh.
And then she was saying, like she's been working like 18 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
It's been really hard, like, fine dining. It's like really, really pressure. I was thinking, shall we start something ourselves? I was thinking, back then we only met each other less than 5 times. Because I was only at the internship.
Yeah,
and then she was like a baker, but she worked from midnight.
Yeah.
So we only see each other like a glance and then say hi in the kitchen. But we're thinking,
but
it's
did
about
it feel like a close friendship or something? That seems like a real thing to put yourself out on a limb on,
I don't know. We just feel that click.
Yeah.
When we were saying something, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to achieve, even though we don't really wanted to achieve anything back then.
Right.
But we felt like we clicked together.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, let's do it.
Good on you.
So we resigned from our own job.
Yeah.
And we started.
Right.
We looked for so basically we were starting online first. So we were just selling on Facebook and Instagrams, and we posted some pictures and we were baking at home. But at the same time, we were looking for branding.
Uh-huh.
So like looking for a designer to do the brand for us. And then we signed the shop in Burwood.
And
That's
time frame was roughly how long?
So we baked at home for about, how long? It's about 3 or 4 months.
Right, okay.
And then we signed the shop. And then we started to do the renovations, everything opened in about 2 months' time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how we start to trade.
So at home, I mean, it's a proper garage story, opening a business in your garage. It sounds like. How many customers did you have? And
we used to have maybe, we only taking 1 batch of orders every week.
Right.
So it's about up to 20.
Okay.
Yeah, per week back then.
Okay.
And then we, both of us, like jumping on a car, just deliver all over Sydney. And then, oh my God, every time we deliver, want to go past Harbour Bridge, we make the wrong way.
Where did those customers come from, your first customers?
At the beginning, we were just jumping into those local communities. So we were jumping onto a Burwood community, and we post an ad. So all the customers, they were really located around Burwood. And then later we can go to Chatswood communities, and then all the customers, because it's cakes, back then we don't have a refrigerated van.
Right.
So it's very hard for us to keep the cake cold. We're trying to, if it's 20 orders, we're trying to make it all 20 in the same spot. So it's easier for us to deliver to the customers.
Yeah.
So you're talking community groups on Facebook or?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, some Chinese community as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we started.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a pure story of the early hustle
Yeah.
that you kind of need to do. You need to reach out to that who you think is going to be your ideal customer.
And that's why we were testing on the market as well. Where shall we locate the store? And we feel like Burwood, back then Burwood is not so busy as what it is right now.
4 or 5 years ago, right?
4 or 5 years ago.
Things have
all the
changed
buildings is the Burwood store we opened back in January 2017.
Right, okay.
And back then it was a brand new building.
Mm-hmm.
We were one of the first to sign a lease.
Okay.
I'm thinking, it's a brand new building. Everything was, back then we don't have the experience to take an old store.
Yeah.
So everything was built. We were having the dreams we wanted to build our own kitchen. We wanted to build our own shop. We don't need anything old. We want everything brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're too young.
Bit young and naive there.
Yeah, it is.
You said something before, like you wanted to test the market.
Yeah.
Where did the idea? Because that's I guess the kind of language that you'd hear someone use that has studied business or something
I
like that.
studied business.
You studied
that's
business.
why.
Okay.
I studied business back then in the UK, and then later I went back to China and working as the marketing strategist, like in some of the fine dining restaurants, as well as for like hotels like Hilton. So basically, that's what I do.
Great.
Yeah.
So you had a bit of background.
Yeah, I've been set up like three headers like restaurants for like some celebrity chefs back then.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, it's a different kind of market, but what we do is like we test the market, we're looking for like locations and then how we're going to generate customers' feedbacks. We've been contacting all the press and then everything. That's pretty much the similar thing of setting up a business.
Yeah.
So kind of like background knowledge, but we didn't really expecting too much at the beginning because like my English is not even like, you know, the like locally like that kind of communities.
Burwood's a good place for, you know, for the culture that you're selling to, right? Like at
the beginning, the majority of our customers, they're all Chinese background because like it's in Burwood and we've been doing online as well. But
Right.
once you have a store, you're facing all the customers coming in.
True.
And then later we've been changing the products as well because we were in Australia. Of course, we wanted to do local markets.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the local customers. Otherwise, we can't survive here just based on that small portfolio.
You had some pretty good experiences going into it. What did you learn out of the first launch that you think is kind of a nugget of wisdom?
The biggest lesson we learned is never expect a store going to be busy all the time.
Yep.
Even it's very successful at the beginning.
So what kind of peaks and troughs did you see?
When we first launched, we didn't really know that we need to get everything ready before we do the advertisement. So, but we were thinking like once we open a store, we needed to be busy.
Right.
We need everyone know about us. So before the flow getting work properly, we posted some like ads. We've been spending some money on the platforms like on the Chinese community. So the store has become packed. But the thing is our service level is up there, not there yet.
Right.
And then the product level is not there yet. So everything's sold out maybe in 3 hours.
Right.
And then we have nothing to sell. We
Yeah.
have no one can prepare anymore. We don't even have any staff. Like it's not enough.
So it's just the two of you too.
Back then we have one runner at the front and then me and another one working in the front. We have like 2 cashiers plus my business partner, so 3 of them at the back.
Right.
But no one can work 7 days a week apart from us.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
So both of us are working 7 days, but
Yeah.
all the other people, they probably just can only come like 2 to 3 days per week. So basically leaving us like 3 people running a 70 square meter store.
Very busy too, right?
Yeah,
So you're selling
back
out
then
by
was
3
busy.
o'clock.
Then we're thinking, oh my God, we're so busy. We're so successful. It's like, how great. We're going to invest money on employing people and we're going to buy a lot of equipment and then we're going to launch a lot of like products. And then that's what we've been doing.
Right.
And then the wave gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Like people, they have very short memories. They can't remember you afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, that's not the right way. Now we have to feed 6 staff full time.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? So we start to think about like to refine our products. And then back then we launched like just a general website, just for display purpose only. And I'm thinking we need to get our name out there, but it's hard. And the competition is really high. So I'm thinking maybe we can do like just some local like communities, and then so we've been sending out flyers and all the other things. We tried everything.
Yeah.
But I guess one it starts to picking up was like the reputations, word of mouth. So people were just like spreading between themselves, and I'm thinking, oh, the business has become steady.
Yeah.
But we do have the up and down moment at the beginning.
For sure. So
Yeah.
you felt like your product was very strong because you got great feedback.
We have really strong belief with the products. The product says all.
Oh, it's awesome. What did your personal life seem like? Well, what was it like rather going through all of that? Because it's, you know, I've launched businesses, we've launched businesses together, and I know it's like it's tumultuous at times, you know.
I started a business like when we wanted to open an extra shop, I was just get married.
Right.
And I resigned from my previous job, like as a cake decorator. And then I fell pregnant. when we
Right.
took the lease.
Oh God.
So basically,
I mean,
during the
congratulations,
time-
but also
during the time
terrible
of
timing.
renovation, I was heavily pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, I gave birth on 1 week before the shop opened. Something. Oh yeah, it's about 3 or 4 weeks before the store opened. So basically, once I had the baby, I started to jump back to work straight away. And the funny thing is, after 2 years, we wanted to open another store in Haymarket. And I got pregnant again. So with my second store, I was heavily pregnant again, like, staying on site and overlooking everything. And then take maybe 3 or 4 weeks rest, and then I'm coming back again with a new store opening.
It sounds like that's a good omen for you.
We're just like a duplicate story.
So one child per store. So how many
Yeah.
stores do you want to have? Therefore, how
No
many
more
children?
child. Maybe 10 more stores, but no more child.
It sounds like you're able to juggle a lot, and I definitely have seen that in the
I
in
was really
experiences.
depressed when I was like pregnant and with the store ongoing.
Right.
I was crying every day. I don't
That's
know
not
what
good.
am I going to do. Like, how can I take care of the kid? And then how can I take care of the store? At the beginning, I don't want to spend so much money to hiring staff as well. And the thing is, you have to look after the store yourself because, like, a lot of things that you have to make decisions, and then especially dealing with customers, you have to be there. And then it's setting up a business, like, we have to be on site.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, it's going to be so hard.
How did you manage it?
Just
Did you...
cry out.
Just cry it out and keep working.
Yeah, I had a nanny back then was helping me, and I was working 2 hours at the store, driving back home, breastfeed, and then coming back again for
wow.
another 3 or 4 hours, and then going back home again. I go back home maybe 5 times a day.
I tell you what, I've got
Yeah.
nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Seriously, I
Compared to that.
know we're busy and everything, but no, do you want
Hats
to
off.
do you want to run this place too? Because wow,
Sounds like you do a good job. Better job than us, at least.
well, it's
Yeah.
impressive, really. Like,
Yeah, because our store back then, it was like people were starts to having late night desserts, and we see that market. That's why we open till 10 p.m. every day.
Uh-huh.
So by the time I finish work and I go back home, it's like 11. And I
Jeez.
do a night feed.
good on you.
How many stores have you got now?
We closed the Burwood one already because the lease is finished, and we moved to a bigger kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running a central kitchen. We keep the Haymarket store as a Chinese pastry right now, and then we have another one in the galleries, and then we're about to open another one in Chatswood.
Well done. It's a serious story of growth. So we're at 1 or 2 stores at this point in the story. What started to change? And obviously there was some pretty macroeconomic problems that you had to overcome too.
Back then, we feel like we were stuck. Yeah, we received phone calls, and then people were asking, do you guys offer deliveries? And then, do you guys offer online orders? I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe is that something we can do? But like setting up a website is quite expensive as well. But we're thinking, like, are we gonna making that orders? Are we gonna make the money back, like, of investing it?
Mm-hmm.
Back then we were having 2 stores, so we have the Burwood and Haymarket. But Haymarket was just like a grab and go. It's a very small store. It's only 20 square meters.
Mm-hmm.
So we were not really worrying too much about that store. That the cost of keeping that store is not so high. But for Burwood, it's quite big, and the rent is very high. And the thing is, like, back then, the shopping center we were at, they were not doing great marketings.
Right.
So it's a very big pressure on us because not many people are visiting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we were losing a lot of customers because we were not offering delivery service. So thinking maybe it's time for us to do a website and then make
So it
some
happened
changes.
to be that we reached out roughly
Yeah,
around that same time.
Around the same time. To be honest, I never really compare with other people. Yeah, I'm thinking about building a website.
Yeah.
And then one of you guys come to reach me.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, yeah, just
Sounds
do
good.
it.
Sometimes in business, that's how it works out,
Yeah,
right?
that's just like the right timing. Like I was planning to do some research, but before I do any research, like, yeah, you guys reached me. I was thinking, yeah, let's just do it.
Good timing, I suppose, for you too, because we had the we over COVID we were doing 6 months interest-free financing. on it.
Yeah. That's how I jumped in.
From there, that's the part of the story we know the most, obviously, because we've been on that journey together. We were talking about before what COVID did to the business. I'd love to go kind of into that a bit more. And I love the fact that
Yeah.
you said you weren't stressed.
Everyone was stressed at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm Chinese background, it's like once it's all happened, like when it's like become really serious back then in China, I was worried as well, because everyone knows it was gonna be spread worldwide soon, and then who knows what's gonna happen. The cities were locked down back then in China. We're gonna face that too as well. And then for me, I'm running 2 stores. I'm paying so many full-time employees. I was thinking, oh, what am I gonna do? But later we just realized because of the COVID, people were not coming out and they were ordering online. They wanted everything delivered to their door. That's why back then we started to buying all the vans and hiring all the drivers. So saying we were offering delivery. And then we were offering free delivery wherever you are. And then we just give us a call and place your order online. We'll just deliver to your door. And then back then, not many people were doing that, especially for cakes, because it's very fragile and delicate. It takes extra care, and we have to pay extra for the driver. We have to purchase all the ice packs or all the thermal boxes. Thinking, yeah, maybe let's do that. And then because we were offering delivery services, that's why our name spread out, and people knows that, oh, they offer desserts. And then people are sad. They stay at home, they have nothing to do, they wanted something sweet.
Yeah.
So we just fill in that gaps. That's why I said I was not so stressed back then, because we become like really busy with the online orders.
It's very gratifying for us because obviously this is the space that we're in. These are the things we dedicate our time to. I just remember starkly we launched it. There was probably about $3,500 of orders the first month. And then there was about $10,000 of orders. And then there was about 15, 20, 30. And I remember looking at it one day being like, this thing hasn't been live for that long and you're doing 50 or 60 grand.
What I noticed, like I wasn't as deeply in the project, but a lot of people come and spend a lot of money with us on a website, and they go live and nothing happens. Your website, it wasn't like you didn't expect the website to be like this amazing website that you're going to throw heaps of money into, but you built the thing, it was functional, and you had the audience. It went live, and then you started transacting. And that's, at the end of the day, I think what I've noticed from the way that you're speaking is you were doing things, you weren't trying to build this monstrous kind of business or like designing like this insane future. You were just doing really practical things to grow your business over time.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, it's just good business acumen. That's how I always put it, is that understanding that a business is really like all about inputs, working on those inputs to generate something more valuable, which is your output, and you're going to sell it for more money.
Yeah.
And I think you've done that really effectively, from our perspective at least. But where are you going now? What's the story look like for Dulcet going forward?
We were at the very hard decisions right now because we were doing the rebranding. So basically means like rip off what we've done before. Like the logo has changed, like the design theme has changed, everything has changed. As I said, I don't really have much time to think about it. And I think about like in 5 years time, where we're going to be. And now it's been about 6 years. We're thinking if we wanted to keep going with this business, how we wanted to present to the general audience, how we wanted to position ourselves. That's why we decided to make all these changes. That's why we decided to spend money on the design, spend money on the packaging, spend money on the renovations, as well as on the website.
Yeah.
We wanted to give this the higher end, the good quality. We do have the products, but we feel like the branding we were associated with the products is not there. So when customers were looking at the branding, they were thinking, oh, this is just a general cake store. But we wanted to deliver the message to the customers, we were using the finest ingredients. We're putting a lot of mind craftership, and we were doing something other people are not doing, because we imported all the the best ingredients from Japan, from France, from Italy. That's the message we wanted to deliver to the customers. To be able to do that, we have to rip off the branding that we used to have. And now that's where we are. We're about to renovate the store we were having on the 18th, which is next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the website going to be launching about the same time, end of this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure it will go well. I mean, you're not alone. We actually, I think it was 5 years in of Hustle when we rebranded to Hustle Agency. Yeah. And typically my phone will never stop. So yeah, it's a hard moment. We actually didn't completely rip away our logo. We actually just refined it, refined the name as well. But me being the person that came up with the first one and, you know, was there at the start, it felt like I was a little bit ripping myself away a bit, you know, like, so it's a tough thing to go through, but you know, I think good businesses can look forward to the future knowing that they've got to reposition themselves and they've got to take that step, because otherwise you will become stagnated, and the business needs to be evolving. It needs to have that.
Yeah. For example, it's like for us, we were selling 10 different cakes, and only 2 of them like selling really, really well, taking up 60% of the sales. And another 8 of them were just maybe like 1 or 2 a day, or things like that. And then like one person liked the cake, maybe the grandma next door, because we were just selling that particular cake. But maybe only her is buying that cake. And then what we're going to do the rest of the time, we'll just like throw them in the bin, just waiting for the grandma to come once a week.
Yeah.
And then later we realized that's not how we're going to do the business.
Yeah.
So we cut off 5 of the cake that's not selling really well. We were just only keeping 5 of them. But out of those 5, we wanted to make it the best. And we were putting so much more effort. We changed the recipes, and we just make it the best. But we feel like the branding we were having is still the store that grandma will come once a week.
Yeah.
So that's not what we wanted to do. We've been spending so much money and we've been spending so much effort to refining our products. We need other people to know about this.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking. Forget about that 30,000 stocks we have, like the packagings we have in the storage. Let's make something new.
Well
it's
done.
hard for us.
And it was a data-driven decision as well. Like you were looking at the, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to inform yourself with something. I mean, there's a little part of it, I find, that it's like there's a gut feel that needs to be to some extent informed by data. Otherwise, you might step the wrong way. But it sounds like that's what you're doing. So we're getting towards the end of the time, but I wanted to see if you had any, maybe just some words of wisdom or advice for somebody who's about to step out on their own or already has and wants to grow their business.
If you're a beginner, don't think too much, just do it. But don't invest too much money on it. Yeah, listen to advice, like talk to people in the industry and then trying to get some experiences from other people. But even though it's bad experience, still do your own thing. Yeah, step out. Once you step out, think a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, go slowly. Don't go too fast.
How do you not invest too much? I think you're expert at this, but
I used to invest a lot, and then that's why my pressure is really high back then when we have the first store, because we want everything new. And then, if you don't want to invest too much, that's why know people in the industry, and then build your connections. You know, people helping each other is in the industry, especially hospitalities. And then you will have the resources of like maybe sourcing some secondhand like machineries, and then maybe look for some stores that they don't want to like continue and take over or things like that. Having something ready-made is a lot easier than starting something brand new your own self. I'm not talking about the branding, but like the fixed asset, you can always upgrade it. There's always room to build new things. Even if you spend, like say you only have like 10K budget, but you can only afford a brand new oven. But with this 10K, you're probably going to buy 5 secondhand oven. You can do a lot more with 5 ovens. Yeah, even those 5 ovens like broke down in 2 years' time, doesn't matter. You've already have something back like over 2 years.
You've
generated revenues, and you have cash flows, and you know more people. And then probably you stay in this industry for another 2 years, you know, there was something a lot better than 10K ovens. There were so many ovens like 50K, 100K. And then you're probably going to have the power to, I don't know, get investment, get the mortgage from the bank, and then you can have another level. Once you have the 50K oven, you can do something completely different. You were already on another level of yourself.
There's some words of wisdom we can take on, I think, as well, in that, because as you know, as we're talking, we're looking to launch a store for Extra Clubs pretty soon. And I have a real problem with what we put in the FISO about how much it's going to cost us, you know. And we've got a partner who's in construction, and they're pretty hard on that number. That's what it's going to be. But I'm like, I mean, we could find some recycled timber. and we could sand it
Do
down,
that.
and you know, and we can get in there and do the painting,
Yeah.
or you know, stuff that we can
Yeah,
do. You know,
do
we should be
that.
doing. You know,
Yeah, that's not what I'm doing at the beginning. And I learned from it. You wanted your branding to be there. You want it to be like really on a higher level. But you can substitute the materials, all the other things. You don't have to spend like 10K on the floor. You know, people are stepping on it. No one like looking at it. We're not
Correct.
Louis Vuittons. We're not MS. You have to have the fundamentals to
Correct.
be work there. MS is not MS at the beginning. Yeah.
I totally agree. Well, I think that's unless you have other questions, I think that's a great way to end it because you've just given real practical advice from your own perspective. No, you definitely
it's
have.
my own lessons.
And with that, we'll call it a day. Thank you.